our show. I'm Lisanne, and today I have four really nice guests. Two here in Groningen and two all from the other side in Arlington. I'm glad you joined in because we have a really nice subject to discuss. My first guest is Renas from the Global Village. So Renas, could you please tell me what the course Global Village is about?
First, thanks for having us on our show. The Global Village is a course and it's a collaboration between two universities, one in Groningen in the Netherlands, Hanze University, and one in Arlington, US, Marymount University. What we're doing is we look at the process of globalization. And during that course, there are teams that the students work in, and there are intercultural teams. So students from Hanze and Marymount work together, and we did the course in three phases. The first was to go out into the community. We all got shopping streets assigned to go out and take pictures of the signs in that street that show us globalization. And secondly, we had to go into the community and interview the people and listen to their side of the story and their perspective about it. Our final assignment was to come up with 3 questions which still need to be answered, and yeah, that's it actually. Yeah. What is really nice about this course is that it goes beyond the walls of the classroom. You get life experience hearing about the stories from the people in the community. So we had one of the interesting stories was from the firehouse in Arlington that my teammate Teresa will tell you more about it.
One of the most interesting historical aspects of the community is the local fire station. At the time when Halls Hill was segregated, the fire station was located in the Black community, and so it was originally run by Black volunteer firefighters who serviced the residents of Halls Hill until the community was integrated in the 1960s. In 1961, the station was rebuilt from the ground up, and the firehouse hired white firefighters as the neighborhood became integrated. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the fire station as to whether it should be moved farther north to provide quicker service to those who live on the northern end of Highview Park. However, residents of the area who have ancestors who lived in Halls Hill or who have familial ties to the community argue that the fire station is an integral part of the history of the neighborhood and it should not be moved. Today, it stands in the same location as it has since the late 1800s.
So, talking about those 3 questions, my second guest is gonna explain about the first question that is still left. Larry?
So we explored our communities both in Groningen and in Arlington, and we talked to some people over there, and we actually found out that everyone has some part of globalization in their own life stories. So this is what people share both in Arlington and Groningen, that their life has been influenced by globalization at some point. So we also looked at ourselves and we found out, also our lives are influenced by globalization. So this led to our first question, which is if every individual would identify globalization in their own lives and their own life stories, would that lead to a mutual understanding? Would that lead to acceptance? And as well, reduce fear of other cultures? So this is a big question and we would like to answer that in the future.
Now for the second question, we will hear Dorika, who is in Arlington, who will explain a bit more about the background of the second question.
For our second question, we consider Thomas Friedman's theory that the world is flat. And through our observations of globalization in our neighborhoods, it's very hard to argue against this assertion. Friedman doesn't scientifically believe that the world is flat, but he thinks that through increased access to technology and the increase of globalization and modernization, the world is now a level playing field. This makes it possible for people across the world to be a part of a global village, exchanging ideas and cultures, and perhaps gives the opportunity for people to compete more economically. And we saw evidence of this in our shopping streets. The store employees, whose backgrounds were from all over the world, were here to take economic advantage of cultures by seizing opportunities for economic growth. We also saw that customers had a variety of choices as to what they consumed or bought on the shopping streets. However, what we wish to further question is how we can make cultural globalization as accessible on a person-to-person level more wide scale. Friedman believes that the internet is the main agent of flattening this world, but how can we make this flattening happen offline?
Well, thank you, Derika, for the nice story. And now, last but not least, we will hear from Teresa about the third question.
Our group's third and final question is, in the process of globalizing, how can we reduce the negative impacts of globalization in each of the 4 dimensions? Because our group's understanding of globalization up until this point has been mostly positive, we would like to consider the negative aspects of globalization. We think that although globalization facilitates cultural exchange, it can also have detrimental effects politically, culturally, ecologically, and economically. Politically, we believe that exchanges of cultures across borders may convey a sense of Western political domination and an inadequate representation of less advanced countries due to the ability of Western culture to be spread very quickly. Culturally, we believe that globalization could possibly contribute to the stripping of individual culture. From an ecological standpoint, we feel that the environment is often neglected due to the way we prioritize convenience and efficiency in our society. We want to know how we can use advancements, which are effects of globalization, while still keeping the well-being of our environment in mind. Lastly, we wonder how we can reduce the negative impacts of globalization economically, specifically the exploitation of countries and peoples for economic benefit. Therefore, our third question is addressing how we can find creative solutions to these problems so that we can reduce these negative impacts of globalization.
So we heard 3 really nice questions and the background of the questions. And now I would like to ask Renat to make a last statement.
Did I already say that I'm in a group, in a project team, which are all girls, and we are called Girl Squad? I forgot that. Okay, so we are the Girl Squad team did a really amazing job with this assignment, and yeah, we are interested to look more into globalization and the effects of it. So yeah, thanks for you that let us do this on your show.